hop to it, shall we? So kicking off the morning with a viewer submission, but also an archetype that's been putting up some popularity. So this archetype saw play in some of the EU Masters teams, but that's notably also like that weird 9-deck format, so people had to stretch a little bit to a degree to find a bunch of decks that could be playable. This is a mostly Targon deck, so it can leverage a Mountain Scryer here. So this is an Allegiance card that invokes when it comes into play, and then it notably makes all of your Celestial cards cost 1 less. The range on this card is pretty wide because it just invokes the entire invoke card pool. Something that's important to know about this card and cards like it, similar to Traveler, that you can invoke, is that even though this technically invokes 0 through 10 cost cards out of that Celestial card pool, the Riot devs actually shared that this effect is skewed towards giving you cheaper cards more often. I don't believe they gave us the exact ratios, but it is not an equal percentage to hit the full range, and you are more likely to find the cheaper cards with an effect like this, which is why things like Star Shaping, for example, is extra powerful, because this one explicitly invokes things that cost 7 or more, so you're like guaranteed to get a bomb with an effect like this. So at the core of this deck, it is playing one of my favorite packages in Runeterra, the Leona Daybreak package. Daybreak says this card gets a bonus if it's the first card you play in a round. She levels when you activate a Daybreak 4+ times. Notably, she does not have to see you activate Daybreak, so Leona is very, very easy to level up. And then her leveled mode is just constantly stunning people. So this deck, I said, is mostly Targon. It has a small splash for some interaction. So single combat is arguably one of the best pieces of interaction / removal in the game. So we've got 3 copies of that. And then one card I'm not quite certain on, but it's cute, is Judgment's definitely a blowout in certain situations, but it's also very, very expensive. So I'm interested to see if this ends up giving us blowouts consistently or if it ends up just rotting in our hand. Because one thing to consider too is, like, you know, Orient Soul's expensive, Judgment's expensive, this is expensive, Star Shaping's expensive, you know, Daylight Spear is basically 8+ mana worth of cards a lot of times, Solari Priestess is 7+ mana worth of cards. So one of the things that I found with the Daybreak package especially is this archetype is deceptively clunky in terms of how expensive its cards cost because of how much mana it takes to fully use cards like Priest and Datesphere. Even Mountain Scryer is a card that, like, this isn't really just a 4-drop, right? Like, it's a 4-drop plus another card, and I'm hesitant to say that, like, I need this extra expensive top end tier. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it feels. Man, look at that transition. Twisted Fate, Elise Gangplank, definitely into the Solari Shield bearers, and the Leona. Sunburst is a little bit too expensive, I think, in general. This is likely the Go Hard Twisted Fate deck. They play a lot of cheap units to start, so having blockers here is good. Hey, Juvu, welcome to a live one. Good morning. Definitely want to just start playing out my Dorkos here. Want to get her out and leveled as soon as possible.
Come closer.
Good morning to everybody in here, by the way. Sweet to see almost 200 people already. Haven't even been live for 15 minutes. Just go ahead and drop the shield bearer here, so they don't have good attacks. Just like make sure they can't generate this. I assume they have another deal one here. Yeah, double go hard to start's pretty good. I could guiding touch there, but I think I'd rather save this to save my bigger Dorkos down the line.
Daylight breaks on the battlefield.
Over the holiday, I realized how much of your content I consume at work. I wasn't working last week, and I felt a noteworthy lack of Hoagland in my ear. What's going on, Freelancer? Good morning. Happy to be the background track to your work. Glad to have you here. I think Go Hard could see some number of tuning. Yeah, what's his name? Mentioned, I'm blanking, Steve Rubin, one of the live design leads for Runeterra, mentioned that the cost of pack your bags is on his radar, which I think that's probably the axis you want to tune it on. And you probably just want the sweeper back half to be more expensive. Honestly, I think you could probably make pack your bags cost as much as 5 mana and have it still be very playable. I think if you asked me, Jeff, what would you do with Go Hard? I think I would tell you I would want to see, I would like to see it cost 4 mana. And the reason why I think 4 mana would be appropriate is because then notably, once all of your pack your bags have been turned, or once all your Go Hards have been turned into pack your bags, you can't fetch it with Zap Spray Fin anymore, which is a big downside. It makes you sequence very differently in that archetype. So if they cost increase, then I hope they go to at least 4.
I'm always up for a round or two. I'm a people person.
Let's drop Priestess here, see what we get. Huh. So, I think if I keep this off the board, I have a pretty hard time losing. So I think I'm actually going to take the Falling Comet here. If I take the Warrior, there's a chance that they've already played. My opponent was very fortunate and already had 3 pack your bags played this game. So if I take the Warrior, or they already played 3 Go Hards, never won the first one. And so if I play the Warrior, there's a very real chance they could hit a very real chance they could have a pack your bags and send all my stuff back in. They didn't, I don't believe Ruben explicitly mentioned which part of the card they have potential issues with, but I would expect the cost is what they would adjust, if anything. It's also worth noting, and this is something that's really critical to Runeterra design that I'm sure they're aware of, is that the difference between 3 mana and 4 mana is huge in Runeterra, because 4 mana hits the point where you can no longer pay for a spell with just spell mana, which is relevant. So this notably does not die to pack your bags this turn, which is nice. Garu, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. We got it. I'm gonna attack with all of these. If they want to eat this here, that's fine. I expect them to block here. And then I think I just go ahead and I think I just let this happen. And then plan to kill this with Falling Comet here. I think I don't want to risk them flipping this. If I set my board up to play around pack your bags, their other cards I have to worry about dying to are Twisted Fate leveled up, as well as Gangplank, and those other 2 are much easier to work with if I keep Twisted Fate not leveled. Day Spear is nice, but notably dies to pack your bags.
I'll make corpses of them all. Warriors of the Raharata, time is now.
We'll follow
Warriors of the Raharata, time is now.
Break their legs.
Easiest block of my life here. Super happy to trade off cards like this aggressively in this matchup because they do have pack your bag set up. Yeah, Dragon's Clutches along with Eclipse plus Orient Soul is one of my favorite things in Runeterra. Really love that. I almost shoved a second clutches in here, but I think we have enough top, and then I probably don't need that. Lucky's GTV, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. All right, and then I think I want card advantage here rather than cheaper dragon, so I'm gonna heal myself and then play this. Yeah, had I known that was on top of our deck, we probably would have played this with Sunburst, but it is what it is.
Gotta go with the flow. Propulsion through battle.
You pay first.
Hey, Crazy Duck. Who would have thought? Thank you for the very generous tier 2. Thanks for keeping me around. Good morning.
I've worked out something special.
Yep, that's a keg. So again, want to be conscious of how often my board is dying to pack your bags versus not. And there's a pack your bag. So I get to go ahead and Pale Cascade this here to keep it alive. This is currently taking 6, and then next turn I have Star Shaping to heal this, hopefully. They could have another Go Hard here or a Vile Piece to finish this off, but I think we definitely take this line. Notably, our health total is still relatively high here, so even if they kill this here and then open attacks, I'm only going to 8, which is still recoverable with Star Shaping and Guiding Touch in hand especially, and the Golden Sister as well. Have a lot of card advantage lined up here. That's a good draw. Hopefully they just open attacks here.
Keep up.
Huh, and you know what? Without them opening attacks, I think I just played the Imperium here, right? Just like get my own elusive blocker down. And now I have to decide, would I rather Guiding Touch my dragon, or would I rather single combat it? I think I want to hold the single combat. I guess I have, I think I want to hold the single combat for a Twisted Fate, but I guess I have this for a Twisted Fate here still. Yeah, I'm gonna Guiding Touch this. The downside, single combating here to like try and kill one of their elusives isn't stellar because they can have a Vile Feast in response to kill it, and then I don't get to fight. That's their first go hard of their second set of them. We'll see how they want to attack here. Do they want to like trade off 2 things for like this plus 3 damage? It's probably worthwhile for them. Well, I guess if they attack with everything, I'd probably block here and then take 4. Like go block, block. Depends on how much follow-up they have here too. Okay, sweet. And then, yeah, I am going to go ahead and take this trade here. Again, there's just so much card advantage in my hand that I just need to live to play it out. So I want to be trading off on board as aggressively as possible or as defensively as possible to keep my life alive. Yeah, this is a little scary. So now they're going to get to crack me for 4 or 5 maybe. They have double go hard here. We could actually just die, right? If they have another go hard and then a pack your bags. If they've been really fortunate.
Let's do this. Through the coral.
Through the coral.
What's this?
What really weird pack your bags. I feel like they should have just opened attack. They should just attack before playing it, right? If they were gonna do that there. They have some kind of trick here. They have that, sure. Yeah, but like, if they wanted me to block this, they should have attacked before playing it, Cody, then they could have killed it post-combat. Maybe they wanted more copies of Go Hard in their deck before they glimpsed there, but still seems kind of loose. I think I was supposed to Golden Sister here and just gain some life. Oh, the Fury. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Cody. That's fair. I don't know. I feel like we had enough stuff in play that, like, they... they probably should have been happy if I was taking the damage there. I don't know.
My light shines.
Thanks for the prime, Mr. One. Good morning. Morning, Jace. And this is exactly what we've been saving this single combat for.
You got legs. Use them. You can't do this.
Two elusive blockers here is great to try and prevent them from seeking extra damage in.
We live here.
I'm gonna do this now. Again, need to get Twisted Fate off the table. It's their second Twisted Fate. Want to gain some life. If this board plays out exactly like this, that's great for us. End up at 16 and very far ahead on board. They're still 2 pack your bags away from anything. Sure. Okay, so like they get to draw more cards here, but now this is living and their Twisted Fate's still gone. So like that's all we care about. Chris, thank you for the 23 months to Prime. Welcome back. Good morning. You have killed my lifelinker. Alright, so the next one's a pack your bags again. Which is again fine. I'm only going down to 7 from that, and I have a gain 5 in hand.
No place for the kind.
I like Chronicler a lot better in their archetype when they have access to this card. I think I'm gonna go ahead and play Eclipse Dragon here. I don't want to play out Oriental and then randomly die to a pack your bag, so playing out Eclipse Dragon here with the 2 mana I have banked means even if they have pack your bags, which is likely at this point, I still have a blocker plus a gain 5, so I shouldn't be dead in combat. And then this makes Oriental cheaper for next turn, so we can get this down then. And then even if they don't have a pack your bags here, we're still in a very good spot having played to the board.
We playing bilge rules, son?
Block here, take 3, 4, 5, 6.
Discipline and conviction.
Think we do this and play another blocker out? They have a way to kill this.
Proud warriors of the sun's true light.
Going in circles is a vicious win-loss cycle. Sometimes it just be like that. My number one piece of advice when it comes to laddering and trying to like push through those last little bits is don't change decks every time you win or lose. I know sometimes hitting matchup variants can be annoying, but just pick a deck that you like and stick with it. Learn the ins and outs of it. You're gonna hit some bad matchups, but you're also gonna get some good matchups. Living Legend sounds lovely.
Hello, Runeterra. Let's rock.
Oh, about to die to vengeance. The good news is we're not dead to open attacks. I think I'm supposed to use this here to use my mana efficiently. My hand has so many expensive cards in it right now that I think I just need to be able to. I need to be able to spend all my mana each turn. I think I give up 2 of them.
I'm always up for a round or two. Something for all of you.
Now, notably, the way I'm dancing my life total around here, I'm not dead to Doom Beast, which is one of the things we're trying to avoid. So now I do have to chump block with this now. Going to 4, but again, just want to leave my, or going to 3, taking 4. Yeah, Nail Biter's a good descriptor. So we're gonna go ahead and play Solari Priestess here, because our best generation is the Sisters.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Just like we drew it up.
The light of my star warms the heavens.
And then I think I actually don't attack with this turn since we drew single combat.
Water. It is time. Why are you here?
Think about your outs and then play to them, chat. You won't always hit them, but you'll win more games when you do. All right, and this is 2 out of 3, so the next one's gonna be a pack your bags again.
Our bond.
They're 1 off of their 3rd pack your bags, and there are a lot of them in their deck, so you know. Oh, no! Oh, wait, no, we're at 2. Okay, I was gonna say, I think I messed up because we're dead now, but we're not. I was say, maybe I should have Living Legends, but no, this is fine. This is fine. So I can Scryer and then not be dead on board. Huh?
Know your path when the mountain changes.
So this trades here, I go to 1.
Exercise caution. Targon's history is in each stone and
It's been a really insane game.
daylight everlasting.
Master Chief, thank you for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
Daylight star will rule the skies.
As though
Sister, sister. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. It's a way to concede. Wow, we beat triple pack your bags that game. We beat double Twisted Fate, triple pack your bags. That was sick. Yeah, that was really sweet. I like when we get to like do the thing and have a good showcase to start. Morning, Hamblin. We got a lot of luggage, Shay. I took them. They kept telling us to pack our stuff up, but we just weren't going. Chestone, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Alright, believe it or not, we're going to mulligan... Definitely the Orient Souls. So they're an aggressive deck. Probably the Clutches too. I think I'm mulliganing the single combat as well. I think we just want the most possible chances to find our cheap Daybreak cards here. Shield Breaker. Shield Bearer is one of the things we're looking for. I'm gonna pass here. I'd rather have this have extra toughness on their turn.
Water changes but never breaks.
Clad in shining sunlight.
You can always find the current deck we're playing by typing !deck in chat. You can also find it on your screen via the overlay. You know, I think,
The mountain speaks to those who listen.
Strength in grace, beauty in the blade.
I think this is actually the play here. They're cutting them off of card advantage with this card tends to be valuable. I'm gonna save this, I think.
This will be quick.
Oh, Stiggy, thanks for the Prime support. So there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. This is a free attack, right? Get to get in for 5 here now as well. Morning, Talion. Thanks for the follow. Hopefully they play out Shen and then we get to Sunburst this. Bezo bucks. Yeah, think of every time you use your Prime sub on Twitch as taking a couple dollars out of Jeff Bezos' pocket and giving it to someone here making content. Lord knows we need it more than he does.
My shield is yours.
Read. I mean, to be fair, I had Daybreak, so it silences her, so, like, barriers and stuff wouldn't have mattered, Lempton. They could have had Deny, I suppose? No, they didn't have Deny mana up, right? No, they did. They did, because they had 2/2. You know, I think I'm gonna have enough Invokes that I'd rather keep this alive than my 3, so I'm gonna go ahead and block here.
Gift from the river folk.
I think we're just thudding a 5/5 into play here. I bet the stitching on his pocket pants are worth more than my bank account. No way I'm reaching into them. Big mood.
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
Easiest round end of my life. They're likely holding Riposte mana up there. Very happy to not play into it.
Fight back, but I can't.
So, she's gonna get to eat some of our friends up. The question is, what am I doing with the rest of my mana? Let's start here and see what we get. Come into that.
Know your path when the mountain changes.
I assume this is about to eat one of these, so I doubt I'll be able to play this turn, but that's fine.
To us. Who would trespass here?
Or are they not scout attack? Oh, they're going just right for killing him. Okay. Huh. Honestly, I think if they do this, I just click OK.
Nature blesses her followers.
What form will the waters take?
Oh, Oh, I should have blocked this with the 2-2. Yeah, okay. I wasn't thinking about this. Yeah. Yeah, this definitely should have blocked here. That's a good call.
I'm sorry.
I was in my head, this was dead, because I assumed that was the play they were gonna make, and then I didn't readjust what I was doing after they made a different play. Not an excuse, just an explanation.
Daylight everlasting.
Definitely wrong on my part. Hush is a great pickup. We should be okay here. We have plenty of cards going, and we're ahead on board. That's rude. I think Hush is more valuable than hushing this now, so I'm just gonna let it happen.
Gift from the river folk.
This card always drawing spells is just so powerful.
Devotion to battle.
I'm like, our mistake from last turn compounding here. Had I blocked this appropriately, I would have like not lost my day spear there, which is a big deal. Bib, good morning to you. Thank you for the sub gifties. I appreciate it.
Nature blesses her followers.
Okay, so I have 12 total mana here. If by looking spicy you mean Judgment is going to let me trade with their board for the most part, you are correct, but... Okay, there's the comment.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Wear it over your head.
So,
Nature blesses her followers.
Exercise.
we're not, like, just dead, but... they're gonna get to draw 2 more spells here. So my overall opinion of Horizon Zero Dawn, it is the best single-player game I have ever played.
Will the waters take? A gift from the river folk.
It's very, very, very good.
My groan.
What form will the waters take?
This, no joke, Ghostly Flow. Runeterra is the single best card game I have ever played. It is very, very well done.
Our son will not
Just
fade to the
genuinely feels like Riot just listened to all the complaints card game players have had from other companies for years, and it's just like, yeah, we're gonna fix all that crap.
Ours is the one true light.
So, Hellblade's really good, but I think Horizon Zero Dawn is on par with almost all the aspects of Hellblade, while also being longer is a big part of it. Now they have Deny Mana up is the problem here, and they just drew a bunch of spells. Like, there's a very good chance we get denied here. Yeah.
The quiet of the woods. There's nothing more.
Yeah, I think silence proactively is the right play here.
My faith protects me.
Their pride will cost them.
The guilty will burn.
Yeah, but so one thing to know too, Ghostly Flow, is something that's nice about Runeterra is they don't do filler cards. So like even though they're releasing a new card set here soon, like there's only gonna be 40 cards in that, and most of them will be playable. So it's not like you have to pour through a bunch of draft chaff to get to the actual game. I think I'm just gonna do this so we can play Oriental and level him next turn, he says before getting rallied. Yeah, this whole game just snowballed off of my mistake with that River Shaper. The turn I missed the Meteor Shower plus block. Right, Digits? Oh, wait. I'm wrong, right? Am I one short? I think I'm one short of having... Yeah, I think I'm one short. I can attack with Orion's Soul, though.
Your favorite star. I created it.
This is the part where they block plus barrier plus riposte this and then we die. Soul Love, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I mean, this is just... Do you have another pump spell, or is this is just strictly wrong, right? Like, I have no mana. They could have eaten it with this.
Hold nothing back.
Yeah, we're very dead. Definitely wrong the way they used the riposte there, though.
Honestly, who
There's nothing to play around with 0 mana.
side?
I do not know, buddy. Let's look at the calendar and see. How long till Jacob's next class? Jacob has 12:30. You have 2 entire hours.
Same.
That is a long time. It is insane. You may go play with toys or watch the show. Have fun. I don't know that I would have called that game particularly close. I think it could have been close had I played better, but I think because I missed killing the River Shaper, it snowballed pretty heavily outside of control for my opponent. I think I'm mulliganing all of these, looking for cheap cards to pair with Leona. Not really sure what target Shadow Isles No Champion means. Definitely a brew, so I think I want to mulligan, assuming they're potentially an aggressive deck. You a pool noodle?
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
I don't subscribe to a Justice stream. I know. It's a little startling. Mario, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Mario! I wonder if Mario knew they were gonna get a theme song when they followed. Okay, bud. I love you. Close the door behind you, dude.
Paint is just accidental art.
Prada, thank you for the follow. Apologies for no theme song for you on that one. For those of you that are new to the channel, I am a father of 3. I have a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old who are currently home remote learning, as well as a 5-month-old who is currently napping. Again, don't really know what they're doing. It's probably just Golden Sister, right?
Daylight warms the heart and lights
Maybe
the way.
we could justify the Challenger to have some removal. This is the old Leona curve.
The dawn has arrived.
Play Leona leveled on 4.
The Solari will shine like the sun. You must burn like it.
They are championless. So kinda in the dark as to what exactly they're
Glorious
doing.
light rains down.
Trendamir, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Thanks for keeping me here.
These springs are for healing, not swimming.
When did your kids get that old? That's true. If you've been here since I started streaming, you probably literally saw them in diapers. Once upon a time, Actually, fun fact, I actually started streaming for the first time really while I was like feeding Jacob when he was an infant. I was just like playing Moto Leagues while I was a stay-at-home dad anyway, so I decided to stream them.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty sparkle fly.
Hex, yep. Yep. Oh, Hex.
The mountain changes.
Rough. Alright, I emoted them. Does that mean my Mountain Scryer's gonna miss in comparison? Let's do this first, just on something. Yeah, Soldier, we get to do this, and then I get to do this, then I get to do Morning Light next turn. How's the split stream schedule working out for me these days? So, the split stream schedule is worse for my average viewer count, but I enjoy it personally. And the feedback on the sub surveys was positive when I asked about the split schedule, so... It's also a schedule that I have out of necessity, so... I think I take the Supernova here. This is like a break glass in case of emergency. And at a minimum, my split schedule is going to remain a split schedule until the children are able to go back to school. So probably realistically through next fall. I really don't expect to be comfortable sending my kids to school before then. More sisters written in the stars. I agree, Jota. The monetization in Hex sucked. Secondary markets are meh. Quite the stunning turn here. To be fair, my current schedule is technically not quite early morning for me. I'm actually starting much later than I used to. In the before times, I went live at 8 a.m. Central, right after the kids got on the bus to go to school. Ah, the before times.
Interesting.
Cosmic Inspiration would have cost 2, so I didn't have enough mana to do that. There were before times I don't remember. Yep. Big mood.
Have faith.
A hero cloaked in stars.
I don't know that I'd necessarily like spend an entire weekend doing a Magic tournament again, but like, you know, somewhere down the line, I could see myself like going to Chicago for like a local-ish thing for a day event. There's a tournament organizer that used to sponsor the stream to promote their events called Nerd Rage Gaming, that they frequently had a Magic tournament at a water park hotel. Which was sweet. So we would go up there with the kids for the weekend. I'd play a tournament one of the days, and I'd spend Friday and Sunday in the water park with the kids in Christie. Stuff like that is fun. Good excuse to travel around the different places. Meteor shower. Well, that's just rude. Give him single combating in response. Just go ahead and kill their challenger. I don't really super enjoy Magic as a super casual game. Maybe you were responding. Oh, you were responding to someone else? Yeah. Webcam. I've heard the webcam. There's a tool called Spell Table, I think, that lets people play via webcams. If you're looking into casual stuff, that seems good. Seems awkward for more competitive things, but fine for a casual experience. Do I want to do this? I feel like I want to just do this and start beating them down, right? Like they're at 5 here. I have enough card advantage in my hand that I probably don't need to Nightfall this.
Sunlight blinds.
Opponent's going to be forced into some jump blocks here. We'll challenge the 2-3 down here so they can't eat my 2-2s.
You cannot sway me. Believe or burn.
Sure. So, they're staying alive, but their board is mostly dead here, and my board is huge.
Have faith.
We just, like, haven't had enough room to deploy this Golden Sisters this whole time. Just good problems to have.
Know your path when the mountain changes.
Daylight everlasting.
Solari control.
I also am marginally unsure of what their deck is doing. That's fine though, we're just gonna attack a bunch. Be very quiet. He is silenced. Are we done here? Can I open attacks? Dying definitely appears to be what they're doing.
Atreus was it?
I am so much more than any human.
Unseen, unheard.
There's only one true light.
Those we care for reflect our love.
For truth.
Opponent's board also very wide here. Gonna go ahead and open on attacks with a bunch of things here.
Stand and fight.
If we trade off some of the stuff on board, we'll have room to drop Golden Sister.
Must we fight?
Half a year, what is that in quarantine years? Asking the real questions. Thank you for the absurdly generous tier 3 innuendo. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Good afternoon.
Do not stray. Sunwed.
Yeah, they're like Nightfall Invoke, but they also aren't playing Diana for some reason, which seems strange.
Daylight star will rule the skies.
They did whiff, which doesn't surprise me. I would be surprised if their unit count is actually high enough to play that card. But is it better to heal Leona in combat? No, I don't think so.
Each journey is a discovery.
Warriors of the Raharat, our time is now.
We'll follow you to the edge of daybreak.
It was
Maybe the opponent is playing, man, I don't have good cards to complete this quest. That could realistically be it.
No doubt he sees to dogs in the hereafter.
You know what? I probably should have taken Living Legends there, because if my opponent has the deal damage to all your opponent's stuff, well, they could have Ruinate or they could have the Descend to the Skies, right? I mean, in fact, maybe I'm supposed to open on Morning Light because of that. If I open on Morning Light, I get to get the draw from this at least. Thanks for the songs. Anytime, Mario's. There's no reason not to attack, right?
Is this what you see?
This is the wrong path.
So they have like Vengeance or Hush for this. Hush doesn't do it. They have Vengeance, sure. Okay, well, we no longer have to worry about Descent to the Skies because their Celestials are all dead. Yeah, so now they need a Ruination, and even if they Ruinate, we go like Solari Shield Bearer into Giant Dragon. I mean, we were at 20 there, right? I guess they could have had like double Pale Cascade, I suppose, to push lethal there if I didn't have the Hush. It's very, very possible. Kalista. So, very likely for all your Chet Isles, Kalista is They Who Endure aggro. I'm gonna mulligan these looking for Leona, I think. What was the payoff? They had one of the big Celestials that gets bigger based on the number of Celestials you played out, Hat Crab.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
Morning, Kubas. I'm doing well. We started Witcher 3 last night on stream. It was a lot of fun. I'm gonna be playing that a bunch of the evenings this week. Can see why that game has a good reputation.
Clad in shining sunlight.
I agree. The Leona package is one of my favorites in Runeterra. It's great. Feels good with Shyvana. Feels good with Swain. Feels good here. Just like good in so many different spots. Aren't there a fearsome deck? The spider is interesting with Kalista. That spider without Elise is weird. And it's not like they don't have Elise, because everybody gets 2 Elise for free. So, like, just choosing not to play it. Does Bastion work well in this deck? I'm not sure. So, for people that are new to the channel, a lot of the decks that we play here are viewer submissions. So I'm playing card for card something someone sent in me to start. I think I'm just drawing a card here. More Dragon's Clutches doesn't seem unreasonable. That card's super decent. Generates you some sweet late game card advantage, grabbing Asol plus Eclipse Dragon. Nemric, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I feel like I have to save this for They Who Endure.
Devotion to battle.
Remember when I talked about Judgment just like gumming up in our hand and not doing a whole lot? Yeah, the Doom Beast last turn first was probably a misclick. And like, this play doesn't feel good. It feels even worse when they glimpse, but I can't just like not be using my mana on these turns.
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
I think I'm gonna cut these for other cheaper cards after this. No, Beansy, the small amount of nudity in Witcher 3 is fine to stream. I explicitly checked that before I took it as a game. So long as the game you're streaming isn't like one of those awful hentai games, like it's fine. So long as the only purpose of the game isn't the nudity, and you're not like being a child and focusing on that aspect of it.
The wrong shall find their
Doom Beast me harder. I mean, to be fair, Judgment beats Second Harrowing, right? Only revenge. I'm not dead yet. Allow me to flail about a bit more and tell you how not dead yet I am. Doom Beast me, daddy. You know you want to. Oh, hey, Hat Crab, you work at Twitch. I told my Twitch partner rep this, but I'm gonna tell you too. You know, it would be a really sweet feature on Twitch if Twitch would automatically let me put the mature content up on my channel when I'm streaming a game that's rated M, and then automatically take it down when I'm streaming a game like this that's not rated M. Maybe the obliterate's better there. Yeah. So far, I'm just manually doing that. I don't need to Judgment, but I'd prefer this not die, and I'd prefer the Kalista die. So you're right, I don't die with these blocks, but this dies, and this dies, and Kalista lives. You see how spooky the wraiths are? They're for sure M. Yeah, we're gonna drag our curve down a smidge. I think this deck's got a little bit too much greed in it. I'm gonna cut this Bastion. I'm gonna cut this Judgment. Maybe we get some more threes. It could just be another Dragon's Clutches. Let's play a couple of mountain goats. Is the answer never not? What is the answer never not mountain goat? That seems fine. So the problem with adding something like Egghead is we're playing Mountain Scryer, and we want to hit with this card pretty consistently. Honestly, I kind of want a full set of Mountain Goats, and I want to trim something else that's cheaper. I feel like it's not sacrilege to trim Pale Cascade here, because we don't have that many cheap things to begin with. And I think the healing is better on average, so I'm going to do that and get some more proactive plays at the bottom end of my curve. Yeah, Goat's just like a sweet mid-range card, right? Like, it lets you pressure, combo, and control, and it lets you pressure, combo, and control, and it also lets you defend against aggro. Cascade is better with Goat. Pale is just burst. What does that even mean? So, one of the problems that I feel like this deck is currently having is that we have too many things that target our units, and we don't have enough units to put them on. So trimming things that target our units for units makes sense, and this deck doesn't have enough cheap cards to consistently enable the Nightfall on Pale Cascade, on top of not having a ton of cheap units to combine it with. So Johnny Ash. I'm gonna mulligan looking for my cheap curve here again. Yeah, like that last game I think is a good example of one of the problems this deck can have on occasion, which is like you just don't have enough to do early especially, and adding Goat's a good way to address that.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
I agree that with specifically Goat, Pale Cascade is sometimes marginally better, but like part of the reason why Goat is good as well is because you just are fine to trade it early and then still get a gem out of it. Caracol, thanks for the keeping on with the tier 1 sub. Welcome back. And again, another big part that like Pale Cascade comes back to is like you look at how many cheap cards that we have. We don't have many of them.
Follow the horizon. Stay back.
Pretty happy with that trade there.
Onward.
Like a tempo-ish even trade. We technically traded a 1-mana play for a 2-mana play, but their 2-mana play kept us at home for a turn, so it's kind of a wash, I think. Written in the stars here. This really sucks if it hits Oriensol, but it's like 60% to hit Leona. And that would be very good for us if we had like a giant 3-mana Leona.
I'm through waiting.
Oh, this is a 1/4. That's annoying. Tom Tracy with the 56 months. You've seen some stuff. You've seen Oglandia go through some changes. Thanks for sticking them all out. It's good to have you back. McGruffin, checking in for the 13th. Welcome back. Remember when we talked at the beginning about how this card was skewed towards giving you cheaper things more often? Yikes. Yikes. At least it makes this one cheaper, I suppose.
Nothing escapes my watch.
Hot on the trail.
Hot on the trail.
In Avarosa's name.
I guess we get to play this as early as next turn. Oh, chat. Everything's going far worse than anticipated. Where did everything go so wrong? I think I've just playing this out as a 2-2. We have some late game, yep.
Destroyer always finds its mark.
Everything's going worse than anticipated is the theme of 2020. Big mood. Big mood.
I will unite the Freljord.
So we get to kill her at least. We're 2 turns off of Korean Soul here still.
Unify the tribes.
It went well, Tom. It's definitely gonna be our next long playthrough game. Enjoyed our start a good bit last night. I think I want a single combat here.
I'll cut them apart. You are mine.
I think we like put this here, put this here, single combat here. This is fine. We're playing Witcher 3 Innuendo. I have actually watched through The Witcher on Netflix already. I agree that it is very reasonable. Man, their monsters are going to be huge. That's their second shared spoils. And they played the Aversonian, whatever his name is, that we just killed in combat. Hearthguard. We're going to have Big Orient Soul in 2 turns, but we need to live to get there. Diana as our 6th champion. I don't think so. Like I mentioned with Pale Cascade, I think we have a hard time enabling the Nightfall trigger early, and just like a 2-2 with Quick Attack doesn't seem very good. to be fair, Wellborn Muse, Pokemon on the Switch is a lot of fun. And the Switch in general is a great console. Math Bandit, what a great username. Thank you for the Prime support. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for keeping me around. Do I want to do this turn, or do I want to Orient Soul plus a single combat next turn? I think I want to Orient Soul plus a single combat. I'm only burning 2 mana doing this.
Safeguard our altars.
Yeah, open up text. Block. Go to 12. Omen Hawk. So, if I take Supernova, I can Supernova plus play this next turn, right? Because this will be 4, and then I'll have 6 and 3, and this will only be 8. This is a culling? Reckoning, okay. So we can Pale Cascade to save this. Something's wrong. Poor Asol. Alright, so I could do this into Eclipse Dragon and then have Orient Soul rolled up for next turn.
The war
That's a nice draw.
You own what you take.
I'm through waiting.
Think I do this? Oh, I could hush this. Maybe that's better? I don't know. I can go either way on that one. I didn't think about hushing my guy, but I'm not sure if I like it. I think I prefer this too.
The heavens diminish without my attention.
Behind you!
That is an incredible draw for them. Them jumping here seems really good for us.
The trap is set.
My, how they stare.
Unlucky. Too many cards in hand.
Hot on the trail.
Typefuse and Lengalos, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel.
Abject failure.
They walked around.
No, I agree. I think a number should appear somewhere on the screen when your hand has 8+ cards in it. I think for like 7 or less, or maybe even 7 or more, but at a certain point we definitely need more. I think that would be a net positive for the game. We are in fact one-offing. It's fine. We're in a fine spot.
I do love an audience.
Know your path. The mountain changes.
10 is the hand limit, and it's
Call themselves Trifarian.
okay, and it's a hard limit, like in. Okay, so I think we Cosmic Inspiration here, so that way we don't get got by Reckoning. Morning Lily Pad. Yeah, and it's a hard limit, so like when you go to draw a card, but you can't, it gets burned off. Error Unknown, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to everybody hanging out today, by the way. Good to see almost 400 people in here this morning for some Runeterra. If you're new to the channel, like some of the folks just following, welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. Runeterra is about half the content that I stream. I focus on turn-based strategy games like this, as well as single-player, story-driven stuff. I'm here a few hours most morning and a few hours every evening. Usually try to play 2 different Runeterra constructed decks every single day at least. There's always a lot of variety in that content that I do. That Butters, thanks for the entire year. I really appreciate it. Good to have you along for some Runeterra. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. One Cosmic Space Dragon level, please. Bow to me, baby.
My, how they stare.
A true Freljordian welcome.
Let's just read. Obliterate. They have a culling here for the last one. So if I hush this, he'll survive.
Be quiet.
Be very quiet. We've got a space dragon. Be quiet, me. Why you hitting yourself, Ori and Sol? Why you hitting yourself?
Now they'll pay attention. My magnum opus.
You like my magnum, baby? Thanks for the 33 months. See unit, welcome back. I appreciate it. We did the thing. Okay, sweet. I see why people like it. I definitely think dragging the curve down and adding some goats feels good though. Goats were pretty instrumental in staying alive early that game. I track my score by chance. I do not. So I think a lot of the people that put a big focus on tracking their individual record with decks do a disservice to the community. Your sample sizes with these decks that you're seeing played on stream are so incredibly small that until you start getting into the, 3 and even 4 digits with your sample size, the actual statistical data that you're collecting from your sample is irrelevant. You're going to come to bad conclusions because your sample is too small. When your sample is less than hundreds of games, like, the details of what happens in your games is more important than the raw numbers themselves. I think we keep Hush here and mulligan the rest of these looking for our cheap Daybreak cards in this matchup. I mean, not even just things like player skill, right? Like, just think about how many times you see a given streamer, myself included, like, they go, oh, I clicked through this really obvious thing. Or, like, even just think about not even just making mistakes, but think about how many times, the game comes down to, did my opponent have an atrocity or did I have an atrocity? Or, like, there was one make or break card that was a coin flip. And, like, sure, the match was decided ultimately by that one play at the very end, but you're gonna put a bunch of weight into, like, what that number meant when it, like, could have very easily gone either way if one percentage point broke differently. A thing that's very common among card game players is that, and I don't even know if this card game player thinks much as a human thing, is I think, people often think that bad data is better than no data, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Using bad data or incomplete data or small sample sizes leads you to bad conclusions that can put you in a worse spot than if you didn't have any information to start with. Hawaiian Zombie, thanks for the follow, and Lellens, thanks for the prime support. For people who aren't familiar with my background, by the way, I have a master's degree in mathematics. I have my undergrad was in mathematics as well. I had some teaching background while I was going to school. I'm good when I win and I'm unlucky when I lose. Yeah, exactly. One of the best ways to describe card games is that the thing you need to understand is it's basically impossible to generate statistically significant sample sizes on your own. You really need to have something like the Riot API, or that's why, like, Mobalytics is such a great site, right? Because they're aggregating a bunch of data. So, like, with Mobalytics, we can have those hundreds or thousands of games in some cases where we can make some data-driven estimations based on the information we have there. But even Mobalytics, to a degree, has to have, you need someone that understands what the data means, helping you digest what conclusions you can draw from it a lot of the time, meaningfully. So one of the best quotes ever, I think, is data doesn't lie, but liars love data. And that really highlights, like, what I think a lot of people fail to understand. Like, just because you're given a metric and that metric is true doesn't mean the story or narrative that goes with that metric is correct. And we're seeing some of that issue here too. Honestly, I could see it being correct to cut all of the Pale Cascades out of this deck. I know that there's people that like think this card is an auto include and it has to be there, but so far the games we're losing with this deck are games like this where I just have too many of these style of effects and I don't have enough plays early. With all the invoke cards in this deck, we have such an incredibly powerful late game that I really feel like I just want to minimize the number of games where we have draws like this early where we just get run over before we can get to our invokes. Thanks for the 10 months, Ironclad. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And that, you know, people often have questions about, okay, well, how do I tune decks and how do we min-max decks and things like that.
With me.
And identifying problems that your deck has and trying to figure out solutions for it is definitely the best way to approach that, in my opinion. Rabner, thank you for the 42 months of support. That's a really long time. Thanks for keeping me around. But I think that's silly in general too, Math Bandit. One of the things too is like focusing only on the higher ranked leagues. Like, if decks are good, they should be good across all of the leagues. And like your player skill variable in large samples, sure, you have 2 players in iron, bronze, or silver or whatever, but they should be similar skill levels because they're in a similar rank, right? So I don't know that Broadback Protector. So again, one of the big things I want to look at here is curve consideration. So I like look at this deck and I go, okay, I have a lot up here. And I actually have a lot in the 2. And this is why you can't just be purely data driven, because like you look at my curve and I have a bunch of 2s here, but a bunch of my 2s aren't proactive 2s, right? Like of these 16 2s, only 6 of them play out proactively on 2. I think I want to increase it. I think I want 1s, 2s, or 3s to play out here proactively. But it's important to remember, like, the number of 2s here is deceptive because, like, Hush, Single Combat, and Guiding Touch, these aren't really cards that I'm playing on 2 a lot of the time. Man, I have just never been happy with Spacey Sketcher. This card just never feels good to me. Like, I don't, like, if I don't have things like Chump Wump or other things that I want to discard, this doesn't feel good. Single Combats felt good. I think I want to get rid of the Pale Cascades. Single Combat being real removal has felt super reasonable. I think I just want like another 2 or 3 mana unit. 1, 2, or 3 mana unit. Honestly, I know it's a little greedy with our invokes, but maybe we just play some Fleet Feather Tracker. I feel like it's probably Tracker or Gift Giver. Gift Giver could be the droid we're looking for. The original list that we started with had 4 Demacia cards. 5 doesn't miss too often. It's basically a question of, yeah, Egghead could be reasonable as well. It's basically a question of, do I want to give up percentage points here? I don't think I do. This card's been really good so far. I think I'm gonna put a couple of Gift Givers in for our last game or 2 here before we move on to our next deck. Tarquin, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, like, when people talk about metagames too often, I think people, like, you know, they think their local metagame or whatever is, like, whatever their last 3 matches were, and it's like, well, the rank that you're in is pretty big, and, like, your small anecdotal sample almost assuredly is not representative of everything as a whole in your division. Hey, Quintivis, good morning. So opponent playing Draven Ezreal. This is an aggressively slanted mid-range deck usually.
Clad in shining sunlight. Burn away doubt.
So the problem with Messenger Sigil is it's not a card that plays to the board, Bone. I think I'm super into Meteor Shower here. Cleans up this Spider Dork and kills both Ezreal and Draven.
Time for the main event.
Would you like to open attack and get a free axe, opponent?
God axes need victims.
I got ways to find me mushrooms.
Could just do this. It could be right to play Leona. You know, I have 2 Leonas. I'm gonna go ahead and play her here. That'll stun this. If they want to trade Draven plus a burn spell for this, that's fine with the second Leona rolled up in my hand. Just exclamation point card name and the bot should pull it up.
Let's boogie.
The opponent's archetype doesn't usually play Vision. If they're playing Vision, come get me. I think this is likely an attack to get an axe plus Mystic Shot this, which I'm fine with that exchange. Lets me save this for an Israel, which is nice. Or a Flock. This is fine. It's like not quite a 2-for-1 because I technically got axes out of this, but it's an exchange I'm more than fine with.
The dawn has arrived. With its light, the Solari will behold the divine power of the sun.
Nah, I'm not really a big fan of Slay the Spire, Quintavis. If you scroll back on my YouTube channel, you can see me play through it. I think we did a 2 or 3 hour session. It's just really not my jam. Games that play out like a draft or limited game have to have a really good story to hold my attention. So, like, as far as, like, those roguelites go, Gordian Quest or Griftlands are ones I definitely, I like because they have a good story element to them. But Slay the Spire basically just being, like, a draft dungeon wasn't very interesting to me.
Answer to me.
To people that keep suggesting cards that are expensive in this deck, so 4+ mana cards that people are recommending, again, identify problem, try to pick out solution. The current problem this deck is having, in my experience, is that I don't have enough cheap cards to play out to the board early. That is the problem I have been having. Just gonna go ahead and do this, because it stuns here. It's like means they don't have decent attacks here.
No way.
I suppose they could play second Ezreal here.
Sunlight blinds.
Yeah, Spacey Sketcher is a card that fits the what I've been talking about. But I also just don't really like Spacey Sketcher in general, and that's why I added a couple copies of Gift Giver.
Last light.
I don't think, like, wait, I know we have expensive cards that we often won't mind discarding, but I also, what's the word that I'm searching for? I also, I also, like, need our late game top end to, like, close the game out eventually. Speaking of top end, I think we're gonna just get a little aggressive here.
Surrounds you.
Oh, that's a harvest right there.
My faith protects me.
Yeah, so like, when you eventually win, you have 4 pieces of top end in your hand, but that's because Orion Sol generates top end every turn, right?
Devotion through battle.
You know what? I'm actually just gonna burn their mana here. I think we're kind of favored as the game goes super long, so if they want to just do that, that's fine. I think we even have the ability to play through Captain Farron here
The power of
with
the
Leona.
immortal sun. Glorious light rains down.
Just stopped in to renew my Prime sub. Don't really watch Twitch anymore, but saw you're protesting Arita and agree, so here's some Bezo bucks. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Armageddon. I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping in. Let's draw some dragons.
Pay dirt.
Sweet. Glad to hear it, Gangster. Yeah. When you, I feel like viewing Runeterra, what's the tempo advice? Tempo is the single most important thing about Runeterra in most games. While card advantage does come up in some select situations, a lot of Runeterra games don't look too dissimilar from, like, what this game is here, right? Like, my opponent and I literally both just have loaded hands, and we have tons of choices to make, so the tempo of who has more on board is the single most important thing about how this is playing out. Yep, it is currently always sunny in Runeterra, so this Eclipse Dragon here gets to get its Daybreak and Nightfall trigger here, which is stellar. So it made some friends while also is going to make Orion Sol cheaper for next turn. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it, Ironclad. Not only is it a result of both players drawing effectively twice as many cards as other games, but the way spell mana works actually makes it easier in well-built decks to use all of your mana every turn. So it's important that you're able to do that, because even if you can't use it that turn, carrying it over to the next turn is valuable.
Devotion through battle.
Morning Blevins. Is that a real thing, Wasted Life? I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that, but that's some hot nonsense if you have. Igneous Rock, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. Flock me, daddy. I think if they open attacks here, we hush this and then jump with Solari Priestess.
The world's a big place. Let's see all of it.
Well, now we can do this.
They think themselves
And now we can hush Ezreal and eat him in combat. I can throw Orion Sol in front of Captain Farron.
That's quite enough.
this might be wrong to block with, because they could technically pop his spell shield and guillotine him, but... I feel like even with this play, we're still like super far ahead. Like, they've got a bunch of cards in their hand here, but most of them don't do anything, right? Like, these are axes, these are decimates.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Someday I will learn to use my called shot powers for selfish reasons, but not today. I'm gonna lead on this rather than the supernova, hoping that they play another unit out here that I want to get rid of, but unfortunately they did not, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to nuke these. Even if they have an Ezreal or a Draven, Meteor Shower kills it. The downside to burning the Meteor Shower this right now is if they have second Baron here, which could be something that they have. These decks usually play 2 to 3 of that card. Thanks, Cheshire. Fox! Did I miss your resub, Fox? I feel like I might have. Thanks for the 20 months, the tier 3. And attack. Thanks for the follow. Okay, I think I'm into trading, right? I'm out of Daybreak stuff? No, I'm not out of Daybreak stuff, but I am that. I guess if I shoved with these as well, they would have taken, if they block here, they would have taken 4 down to 3. Decimate me, Daddy. Oh, yeah. You know just what I like. I could be right to just play this as well. I don't know. There's a lot of right ways to eat this, Rhesus. Nice. Sweet game. It's a good one to end on for this deck, I think. I like to end on a high note. That feels like a pretty high note. Alright, so to close on this one. I like what this deck is doing a lot. This is another place where the Leona Daybreak package really feels good. I think this is one of my favorite collection of cards in Runeterra right now. It just goes well into such a large variety of things. Mountain Scryer definitely feels like an appropriate payoff that's worth building around. Not only the Invoke, but also... Not only the Invoke, but also the cost reduction's really huge. These Invoke-style decks with Orient Soul and Star Shaping often feel like they die with too many cards in their hand a lot of the time and not enough time to cast them, and this card does a good job of making sure that doesn't happen. Now, things I'm not certain of. I am certain we like the GOAT. The one big problem this deck felt like it had when we started was our hands that had too many things that target our units and not enough units early to target consistently. and the addition of Mountain Goat and another 1 or 2 drop is good. I am not confident that Gift Giver is the correct additional early threat. I think Spacey Sketcher is worth the consideration. Based on my experience with this card in other decks in the past, I've always been underwhelmed by it, and Gift Giver has felt better. So I would start with Gift Giver, but I think that this felt very reasonable, and at the very least, I want more cheap things on the bottom because this deck has so much powerful top end with our Daybreak package and our invokes that I just need to survive to get to leverage that Daybreak package, and more cheap units that play to the board do that nicely for us. Thanks for the bits, Fox. I'll get that added to the deck queue. People asking for deck codes. I'm going to go ahead and update the deck code on my Mobilytics page. Also, if you're new to the channel, I have a YouTube channel where this full stream session will go up start to finish. You can see us play a bunch of games and tune and optimize the deck a little bit as we go. That'll have the deck code in the video description as well. We are done with this deck for the day, but we are not done with Runeterra, so don't go anywhere. We have quite the stunning deck coming up next here.